Rayden wasn't lazy. That's what people misunderstood. From the outside, his life looked stable, almost admirable. A small apartment in Phoenix, a predictable job at a logistics company, a quiet routine that didn't ask too much from him. He woke up at 7:30 every morning, brewed the same cheap coffee, scrolled through his phone, and left for work at 8:15. Nothing chaotic. Nothing risky. Nothing alive. He used to tell himself, this is what peace looks like. But deep down, something kept whispering, this is what hiding looks like. The first time Rayden noticed it clearly was on a Thursday evening. He sat on his couch, laptop open, a blank document staring back at him. The title at the top read, Business Plan, Draft 1. It had been there for 3 weeks. He had ideas. Good ones. A freelance digital service agency, something he had been thinking about for almost 2 years. He knew the skills. He had done small projects before. People had even paid him. But every time he tried to move forward seriously, his mind stepped in. You're not ready yet. What if you fail? What if you lose your stability? Just wait a little longer. And somehow, those thoughts didn't feel like fear. They felt like logic. So he closed the laptop. Again. Rayden's life wasn't empty, it was just controlled. At work, he was reliable. Efficient. Invisible in the best way possible. His manager liked him because he didn't cause problems. He met deadlines. He didn't ask for more. He didn't risk more. During lunch breaks, his coworkers talked about promotions, side hustles, moving cities. Rayden listened. Nodded. Stayed quiet. Because every time he imagined himself doing something bigger, his chest tightened, not with excitement, but with resistance. It wasn't obvious fear. It was heavier, like his mind was protecting him from something. One night, his friend Marcus called him out. You ever notice, Marcus said, leaning back in the chair across from him at a small diner, you always have ideas, but never timelines? Rayden frowned. What's that supposed to mean? It means, Marcus shrugged, you talk like someone who wants more, but live like someone who's scared of it. Rayden laughed it off. I'm just being realistic. Marcus didn't laugh. No, he said calmly. You're being comfortable. That word stayed with him. Comfortable. It sounded harmless, but the more Rayden thought about it, the more it felt like a trap. Because comfort didn't feel like chains. It felt like safety. And that's why it was so hard to escape. The next morning, something small changed. Instead of scrolling his phone, Rayden opened his laptop again. The blank document was still there. But this time, instead of trying to plan everything perfectly, he wrote one sentence. I will take one client this month. That was it. No 5-year plan. No perfect strategy. Just one step. His heart started racing immediately. His mind responded instantly. You're rushing. You don't even have everything ready. What if the client is unhappy? What if you embarrass yourself? And for a moment, he almost closed the laptop again. That was the pattern. Dream action resistance retreat. Every time. Like an invisible force pulling him back into the same life. But this time, something felt different. Instead of obeying the thoughts, Rayden watched them. And for the first time, he realized something unsettling. His mind wasn't trying to make him successful. It was trying to keep him safe. Safety meant predictability. Predictability meant no failure. No failure meant no pain. So his mind wasn't broken. It was doing exactly what it was designed to do. Protect. Just not in the way he needed anymore. That realization didn't make things easier. It made them harder. Because now he understood the truth, if he wanted his dreams, he would have to move against his own instincts. Later that week, Rayden created a simple freelance profile online. Nothing fancy. No perfect branding. Just honest. It took him 2 hours. And when he clicked publish, his hands were shaking. It felt like jumping off a cliff, even though logically, nothing big had happened. That's how strong comfort is. It turns small steps into emotional battles. The next few days were quiet. No clients. No messages. Just doubt growing louder again. See? This isn't going to work. You're wasting your time. At least your job is stable. The old life started calling him back. Softly. Persuasively. Like it always did. Then, on a Sunday afternoon, his phone buzzed. A notification. Someone had messaged him. A small project. Nothing big. But real. Someone trusted him enough to pay. Rayden stared at the screen for a long time. Not because of excitement. But because of fear. This was the moment. Not the dream. Not the idea. The execution. Because dreaming is safe. Action is where comfort starts to break. His mind immediately reacted. What if you mess this up? What if they regret choosing you? What if you prove you're not as good as you think? His chest tightened again. His fingers hovered over the screen. He could still walk away. Ignore the message. Stay where things were predictable. Safe. For a few seconds, he almost did. Then he remembered something Marcus said, you don't need more time. You need less excuses. Rayden exhaled slowly. And typed back, I'd love to work on this with you. He hit send before he could think again. That night, he didn't feel confident. He didn't feel ready. He didn't feel fearless. He felt uncomfortable. Uncertain. Exposed. But for the first time in years, he also felt alive. Because comfort had a cost. And Rayden was finally starting to see it. It wasn't just holding him in place. It was slowly taking his future away, one safe decision at a time. As he sat in his apartment, laptop open, working on his first real client project, his mind was still whispering. Still doubting. Still trying to pull him back. But now he understood something powerful. The voice in his head wasn't always the truth. Sometimes, it was just fear wearing the mask of logic. And if he kept listening to it, he would never leave the life he secretly wanted to escape. Rayden looked at the screen again. Took a deep breath. And kept working. Because this time, he wasn't choosing comfort. He was choosing growth. Rayden didn't sleep much that night. Not because he had too much work. Because his mind wouldn't stop. The project wasn't even big, just a small branding and digital setup for a local startup. Something he knew how to do. Something he had done before in pieces, but this felt different. Because this time, it mattered. Every few minutes, his thoughts shifted direction. This could actually work, then immediately. Or this could expose you. He sat at his desk at 2:14 a.m., staring at his screen. The design wasn't bad. But it didn't feel perfect. And that was enough for his mind to start attacking. It's not good enough. They'll notice your flaws. You rushed this. You're pretending to be better than you are. Rayden leaned back, rubbing his face. There it was again. That voice. Not loud. Not aggressive. But persistent. Convincing. This was the real battle. Not skills. Not opportunity. But interpretation. Because nothing had actually gone wrong. Yet his mind was reacting as if something already had. He stood up, walked to the kitchen, and poured himself water. His reflection in the window looked unfamiliar. Not because he had changed, but because he was finally seeing himself without excuses. Why does this feel so hard, he muttered. And somewhere in the silence, the answer surfaced, not as a thought, but as a realization, because you're no longer hiding. Comfort had always protected him from this feeling. From being seen. From being judged. From possibly failing in a way that felt real. But now he had stepped outside of it. And everything felt louder. The next morning, he submitted the first draft to the client. His finger hesitated over the send button again. Same pattern. Same resistance. But this time, he noticed something new. The fear didn't mean stop. It just meant this matters. He clicked send. And then came the waiting. Waiting was worse than working. Because working gave him control. Waiting gave his mind space. And his mind used it. They haven't replied yet, that's a bad sign. They probably hate it. You should have spent more time. You rushed it. Hours passed. No response. Rayden tried to distract himself at work, but every notification made his heart jump. Every silence made his thoughts louder. By evening, he was mentally exhausted. Not from effort. From overthinking. At 7:42 p.m., his phone buzzed. He froze. For a moment, he didn't open it. Because as long as he didn't look, nothing was confirmed. But eventually, he tapped the screen. The message read, "Hey Rayden, thanks for the draft. I like the direction, but I think it needs a few changes. Can we revise some parts?" He stared at it. And something unexpected happened. His chest dropped. Not because they hated it. But because it wasn't perfect. And his mind jumped in instantly. See? You're not good enough. You couldn't even get it right the first time. This is why you shouldn't have started. He sat down slowly. The old version of him would have done one thing: withdraw. Delay. Overthink. Maybe even disappear from the opportunity completely. Because that's what comfort does when challenged. It pulls you back the moment things aren't smooth. But this time, Rayden didn't respond immediately. Not to the client. To his thoughts. He read the message again. Carefully. Objectively. I like the direction. That part was real. They need a few changes. That part was normal. Nothing in the message said failure. Nothing in the message said rejection. The only place those meanings existed, was in his mind. He leaned back, exhaled, and for the first time. He didn't argue with the fear. He didn't try to silence it. He just didn't obey it. Then he replied, "Of course. I appreciate the feedback, let's refine it." Simple. Professional. Calm. But internally, it felt like breaking a lifelong habit. Over the next few days, Rayden revised the work. Not perfectly. Not confidently. But consistently. Each change felt like friction. Each improvement felt like effort. And slowly, something shifted. The fear didn't disappear. But it lost authority. Because every time he acted despite it, it weakened. A week later, the client approved the final version. Paid him. Thanked him. Even mentioned future work. Rayden stared at the confirmation message in silence. This moment should have felt like victory. And part of it did. But something deeper settled in: clarity. It wasn't about this one project. It wasn't about money. It was about proof. Proof that his mind had been lying to him for years. Not maliciously. But protectively. Because his mind wasn't designed to chase dreams. It was designed to avoid pain. And dreams? They come with uncertainty. Rejection. Failure. Growth. Everything comfort tries to avoid. That night, Rayden sat on his couch again. Same spot. Same apartment. But nothing felt the same. Because now he could see the pattern clearly, every time he tried to grow. His mind created reasons to stay the same. And every time he listened, he stayed stuck. But every time he acted anyway, something expanded. Not externally at first. Internally. Confidence wasn't showing up before action. It was forming because of action. That realization changed everything. Over the next month, Rayden didn't transform overnight. He still had doubts. Still hesitated. Still felt resistance. But he stopped waiting for it to disappear. Instead, he moved with it. He took on more small projects. Improved his skills. Made mistakes. Fixed them. Some clients left. Some stayed. And every experience added something his comfort zone never could, evidence. Evidence that he could handle more than his mind believed. Rayden wasn't fearless now. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't even fully confident. But he was different in one critical way: he no longer trusted comfort more than his dreams. And that changed the direction of everything. Because growth didn't start when fear disappeared. It started the moment he decided, I will not let comfort make my decisions anymore. And for the first time in his life, his future didn't feel like something to think about. It felt like something he was finally building.